Fine. Today is what? Today, what is the date? Very interesting one. Okay, very interesting thing. See what we are talking with. There are two things are there. Is it right? One we are talking in terms of fraud, and one we are talking in terms of error. Fraud is intentional. Simple words. Okay, fraud is intentional. Error will happen. Is it right? It will happen. Now what they are saying. See, I will tell you the things. Till now they didn't ask anything about fraud, okay, in the question papers. But in the directly about define fraud, nothing like that, they have not asked anything. But in the scenario they will say that whether it is how it will happen. If you are doing intentionally, an intentional act by one or more individuals among the management, those charged with, who are the people who are charged with the governance, employees or third parties involved in the deception. Is it right? Involved in the deception means you are doing intentionally by one or more individuals who are the people who are charged with governance to obtain unjust or illegal advantage. Okay, you get the unjust or illegal advantage. Fraud may be perpetrated by an individual. It can be done by individual, or it can be done individually by an individual, or it can be colluded. We can have with understanding with other people, either in terms of internally or external to the business. Okay, means the only one that makes more specific is it is a intentional act. Okay, intentional act to obtain an unjust or illegal advantage. Fraud risk are events or conditions under which it definitely we will get, which indicates there is some incentive, or there is sometimes what will happen, there is a pressure to commit fraud or provide opportunity to commit fraud. What are the things? What is the fraud? Fraud is nothing but, in simple words, is right? It's nothing but you are manipulating the accounts intentionally. Is right? You are manipulating the accounts intentionally. The client is manipulating the accounts. We can do 100%. Take my word. It is something called as creative accounting. Is that we can do just by click of the button. Is it right? We can change the methods intentionally. Is it? We can change the methods automatically. What will happen? The entire profit and loss account structure will change. Okay, we can convert from profits to losses or losses to profits. We are see that is the reason. You will have very clear. You have the current liability and you have the non-current liability. Intentionally we are showing current liability into non-current liability and non-current liability to current liability. Things will change. Okay, we are talking in terms of a revenue expenditure. Is a revenue and a capital expenditure. Is that intentionally people will do converting revenue to capital expenditure or capital to revenue expenditure. Is it right? With a intention that yes, we will get an advantage on this aspect. You will have, there are two types of frauds. One is with respect to reporting, one with respect to misappropriation of assets. One is with respect to financial reporting. One. What is the example of financial reporting? First focus on examples. You will have some clarity. Manipulation. Is that manipulation of the numbers? Falsification or alteration of accounting records. Is that you are changing the accounting record dates? We are changing the amounts. Okay, we are changing the date. We are receiving on 31st, 30th, on 29th of December, but we will show it in 5th of January. You can do anything with beyond our imagination, as a simple matter beyond our imagination. Sometimes even we cannot imagine that these type of errors can happen in real life. Is it right? Falsification or alteration of accounting sometimes, and or supporting documents. Is that supporting documents is in nothing but the evidences. Is that in terms of evidences. This is the first one, okay? Manipulation, falsification, alteration. The thing is misrepresentation in terms of what? Omission, completely omitting. Is it right? You will have, I will tell you like this. When you are talking about that thing, there is a tax evasion is there and tax avoidance is there. Is it? Tax evasion is there, tax. You are completely omitting the transactions. Okay, in some cases you are not showing the transactions at all in the balance sheet. That is the reason when you are doing the thing, there are three types of errors are there. Is it? There are three. One is error of omission is there. We cannot go through it at any cost. The one is error of principle is there. The one is error of omission is there. Error of principle, error of omission, error of principle, and error of commission. They have completely vegan. In order to do this, in order to this is as an auditor, what are the precautions you have to take while doing the audit? Okay, what are the things you have to take into consideration when doing that? Intentional misapplication of accounting principles. Is that intentional misapplication of, instead of putting debit you will keep credit, instead of credit you will do debit. That's the reason just now I told you. You are there. See what happens when I will give a small example. IAS 16 is that when you are talking about IAS 16, what is the how you have to determine the cost of an asset. Okay, how we have to determine the cost of the asset. The principles has been laid down that cost of the asset, any installation is there, you have to add any cost related, direct cost related to the asset, you should add it. They have made very specific clause is there. Anything related to training, is that anything related to training we should exclude it. Is that this is the cost of an asset, how we have to determine. Likewise, in the cost of the asset we will talking in terms of borrowing cost also. How you have to take into consideration the borrowing cost. How we have to take into consideration the government grants. Is that I'm just giving an example. You should know that principle. See, even if you are not applying the rules as per the specifications, automatically what will happen? Definitely we are going against the principles. Means intentional act to deceive, to get an illegal advantage is otherwise called as a fraud. Okay, is otherwise misappropriation assets. Now the second factor. Again, see, I have not done this. See, what is the, I have not read this. Involves intentional misstatements, including omission of transactions, amounts or disclosures in financial statements. Is that we are omitting the transactions. Okay, we are not considering that. Then you will ask how the payments have done, how the receipts has been done. It all depends on what? It all depends on debit and credit. We are completely omitting the transaction. Automatically it affects both debits and credits. Is it right? Our trial balance will get tallied, but subsequently. Now another thing, I want to make it very clear in the beginning. See, anyone doing the fraud, okay, they can survive short term, 1 year. Current year they can survive. But second year, third year, they will get trapped. Okay, it's not, see, somebody will, we cannot continue an error. It is a financial statement. Okay, somewhere it will be get trapped. That is the reason whenever you are talking about the fraud, we cannot escape. Okay, we cannot escape from this activity as such. Is it clear to you? Fine. Now, coming back to this, what is misappropriation? First, again, you see the thing. You are talking about, first you take examples, it will give some understanding. Emblazing receipts, for example, diverting them to private bank accounts. Recently, there was a rule from the government. Is it right? There was a rule from the government. It says very clearly that if you are having a business, is it right? If you are having a business and you are getting income from the business, it has to be done through separate business bank account. Is it right? It has to be done by the separate business bank account. You should not, okay, separate business bank account. We should not take any income into our personal bank account. Okay. Now what happens? What happens? You see, most of the time it happens with respect to sole traders. Okay, sole traders. Because all the time, sole traders, mostly the experience says that they will have losses. Is it? Sole traders will always have the losses. And there is a possibility that the sole traders can misplace the amounts as well. Even at a bigger scale, is it right? Even at the bigger scale, you should not divert them to your private bank account. The first one. Next, it also says stealing physical assets or intellectual property, like in terms of inventory. Is it right? In terms of inventory, in terms of selling data. What does it mean here, data? Any idea? You have to tell what is the concept of a data here.
Intangible assets.
In terms of this is the most hottest topic nowadays.
Trademarks.
No.
Rights.
No. Whatever we are doing, whatever we are accessing, whichever Instagram is there, any websites are there, any promotional events are there, any inquiries are there, immediately what will happen? The customer information will be captured. Is that the customer basic information? Your email will be there, okay? Your phone contact number will be there. Is it right? Contact number will be there. These two things are really most important one. Is it? Now people are just needs data. You should not share the information which you have collected for the purpose of business. Understand? You should not share the information of the customers which you have collected for the purpose of business. But in some cases, people what will do? People will see this data is very important. Getting my point? This data is for what? We are using the data for most of the time what? For a promotional campaign. Is it right? For a promotional campaign, to do advertisements. Is that new business is there? New business is there. Now for them they want to promote, they want to send the promotional campaign advertisements. They want to promote it. What they will do? Some people see the moment you enter any inquiry on your Instagram, on your Facebook, on your email, anything. That is the reason you see the thing. They will say you will have subscribe. Is it right? You will have a subscribe, you will have a unsubscribe. Is that you will have a, you don't know when your email data has been captured by them. When it has been captured by them, you don't know. Sometime, some way down the line in your emails, maybe you have clicked that advertisement, click that email, automatically it will capture. YouTube, you access any YouTube channel. What will happen? Immediately your data will be captured. Is that the system is like that. Now the people are very much clear. It is also a fraud that you are sharing the information of your business regarding the customers with others on the basis of some materiality, means on basis of some value. Is that this is the second one? Causing an entity to pay for goods not received, payments to fictitious vendors. That is the reason whenever we are placing the order, is it right? Whenever we are placing the order, you will have the approved list. Is that you cannot place the order without approved list. This according the only on the approved list, you have to select it. It is a approved list by the senior management. Means in why we are doing this, we will cover this in some of the questions. Okay, we will cover this because we want to avoid any fictitious vendors. Is that otherwise you will place the orders, the vendors is non-existence, but you are making the payment, you are not receiving any inventory as such. Okay, using assets for personal use. The business assets, even that is the most important. It is not only taking into consideration from ethical perspective, we should not use any asset for personal use unless and until it is officially assigned to us. Okay, unless until it is official, it is part of our package, then only we can use. Otherwise we should not use this for our personal use. Now coming to the concept, involves the theft of entity assets, inventory, okay, and is often perpetrated by the employees in relatively small and immaterial amounts. The amount is small. See, some I will tell you is that some people were there. Is it right? They will use stationery. Stationery amount is very small, very minimum. But what they will do, they take the official stationery and they will use for personal one. Some people are there. They have given the cars, petrol expenses. The employees will be given. It will be given to the employees. Is that they say it has been clearly defined. It is for official purpose. But what happened? They will use it for personal purpose. It is a very small amount, minimum amount. It doesn't make any difference. But ethically, our conscience should not say that we are using for our personal purpose. However, it can also involve management who are all usually more capable of disguising or concealing misappropriate in the ways that are difficult to detect. It's very simple one. Is that we cannot take the example of stationery. Can you imagine? You can prove it that somebody has taken stationery, office stationery for personal use. You cannot do that. Is it right? It's very difficult. You cannot detect that yes, car has been given for official use and they are using for personal purposes. Is it? Rarely. You can make it a point. If you take the car, you have the concept IVMS. Okay, you have inter-vehicle movements system is there. Is that IVMS? IVMS can be it can be detected. But even apart from that, it is some cases it may happen. Is that this is called as misappropriation of asset. Real example, is it? This is the example that happens, is it? In 2009. See, I will tell you a small, see, when ACCA is giving example of a company that happens in India, means how serious it was. Is it right? I will tell you this, and I will give a brief, see what happens, these people, it has been started by one person called as Ramalingaraju. Okay, it is one of the reputed companies in India, and it has been listed in New York Stock Exchange also. Can you imagine an Indian software company listed its shares? Is it right? Listed its shares in New York Stock Exchange. Means just imagine how it has been grown up over a period of time. See the growth that has been happened. Now what happens? It has been grown, and they provide software services. Okay, they have provided software services. It has been grown automatically. What happened? They have moved the business. Is it right? There are very clearly with respect to software support. They moved the business to real estate. Okay, they moved the real estate. Real estate is also a good business. Okay, real estate. What they have done? Their company name was Satyam. Okay, their company name was Satyam. What they have done? He has done. Okay, and very clearly you can refer this on the website anyway. He has done very smartly. He has reversed the name. Is it right? He has done what? He has reversed the name as Maithas. If you go from right to left, is it right? It is Satyam. Okay, from left to right it is Satyam. From right to left it is Maithas, and they have worked on real estate. It is totally it is a fraud. Now this is a just introduction I gave. In 2009, what happened? They admitted falsifying the financial statements for almost, keep it in mind, 1.5 billion dollars. 1.5 million dollars. Immediately, one fine morning, okay, one day fine morning at 10:30 or so, is it right? At 10 a.m. After 10 a.m. when the stock exchange has been opened, he sent one email to them that this has been done by me. Just imagine, he has sent email to the stock exchange at 10:30 that it has been done by me and it is irreparable. We cannot solve this. Means I have manipulated the accounts to the extent of 1.5 million. He invested in real estate where he doesn't have any experience. Real estate, there was a boom. 2009 there was a recession. Getting my point? 2009 there was a recession. He has invested huge amount. It not happened 1 year. It started somewhere in 2000, before 2000. Is it right? You will have a .com. Is it right? You will have a .com. Is it right? You should have a history. It is also a case study. Is it right? You have a .com boom was there. Is it right? All the internet information technology started in 1990 onwards. Basically, that has been picked up. The most important thing that happens in 1999, the transformation, the transition that has to be happened. Maybe some of you have not born. Very simple. The transformation has to happen from 1999 to 2000. The date has to be changed. People have a lot of issues on that. The doubts on that the date will be changed in the system automatically or not. Successfully it has been transformed to 2000. Okay. Now after 2000 there was a boom that happens to. Now there is a success and it was a boom. Fine. Incidentally, what happens? Somewhere during the year 2007, 2008, there was a big recession was there. Is it? The industry has been growing. People have good amount. They have taken what they have taken loan, and the most important thing for any individual is they have taken which type of loan? They have taken housing loans. Is that expecting that yes we will pay, but 2008 there was a recession and people start defaulting the loans. Getting my point? People start losing the jobs and they started defaulting the loan. The moment there is a defaulting of the loans, in information technology industry there was huge layoffs. Is it? There are huge layoffs. After this, you revise this recording. Okay, once again you listen to this recording. It makes sense. There was a huge layoffs. in the IT industry, and automatically people start defaulting on the loans. When you are defaulting on the loans, what happened? This person has invested in real estate. This person has diverted he is a one man show. Okay, he is a one man show. He has a board of directors. Everything is there. You have auditors are there, board of directors are there, independent directors are there. All are there. But he has done on his own. Okay, with the team. It's not that he's done with the team. Now real estate business went down. Here, where real estate, where people start defaulting, people start not claiming the property. Automatically, what will happen? He started losing business in real estate. But from where this source of fund he has pulled up the source. He has pulled up the source from the IT industry. It is his firm. IT industry is the mother company as a parent company. Is that now he started losing. Automatically, at one point he was in such a position that he cannot manage his business. On that day, he sent one email to the stock exchange. He was put behind bars. Can you imagine? He has put behind bars for almost 5 to 10 years. You can check this on your YouTube, on anywhere. In the Google, it is there. That they have put behind bars, and it is a big. Even they just imagine New York Stock Exchange. The shareholders lost so much money. Is it right? What it says, admitted falsifying the financial statement by almost 1.5 billion. The financial statements contains falsified revenues. He has manipulated the revenues. He has manipulated the margins and cash balances. Is that he has shown something fictitious accounts? Isn't that because of that what happened? Overinflated. Is that he has overinflated revenue figures? He means he has shown revenue more than its actual what it has been happened. Now you see that the chairman admitted, the Satyam, the Raju admitted the fraud in a letter to the board of directors of the company. He admitted, he has given that is the reason after this and some other instances, some other scandals, corporate governance came more effective. They have been focusing on the corporate governance. What started as a marginal, a small gap between actual operating profit and one reflected in the books, slowly they say that it is a small thing we can manage. He is from the IT industry. He is a brain behind IT. He doesn't know any financial fundamentals. Okay, now the moment your strength is IT and you are just manipulating the financial statements, it makes lot of difference. Is that one reflected that operating profit and one reflected in the books continue to grow over the years. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Is that one mistake? In order to correct that mistake, you have to do another mistake. Is that errors? You have to manipulating, the things are becoming bigger and bigger. It has attained unmanageable proportions as the size of the company operations grew over the years. It is unmanageable proportion. The IT industry is moving, the real estate is also moving. What happened? How it has been happened? This is where it has been done. If you are doing like this, then it is a clear picture that it has been done as a fraud. As a matter of fact, I will recommend you just write down Satyam Lamaringa Raju fraud in Google. You will get information. Just read it. You will have a more clear picture on that. Okay? If it is there with me, I will share that in the group also. Okay? Now, the purpose of what is the auditor? Now you will ask me what auditors are doing during this time. Is that you will should ask what auditors are doing. The auditors are doing everything perfectly. Is that the auditors are doing the audit, things are moving well, nobody is in the limelight, nobody is able to deduct also. They are submitting the financial statements in a sequential manner, so on and so forth. Okay, I am not recollecting the company as such. I don't know, it is Toshiba or something. There's one company was there, is it right? I will give you the reason also. It happens last year. It happens last year. Yes. What they say, you have to submit your financial reports by 30th of April. Okay. Now what happens? There are instances. Okay. See, there are instances where we are going to say that we can take the extension. Okay. We can take the extension for submission. Usually they will give extension for 3 months. Who? Regulators. Okay. The stock exchange, they give extension for 3 months. April, I think April, or it was their reporting date was March. Okay. They have taken 31st March. They have asked for extension till March, April, May, June. Okay. Their reporting date was 31st March. Okay. Extension June. Fine, they will give. If again they asked extension for 30th September, immediately people got some suspicion has been created in the market. Automatically the stock exchange will reflect it on the websites, announcements. Why they are asking extension? People will ask, companies will ask extension only when there is something wrong within the system of financial statements. Understand that point? There is something wrong. Immediately the auditors are there, the board of directors will be there, auditors will be there, everything will be there. But it is not done by one individual. It will have a collaboration. Likewise, if what I want to say is, if there is an extension of submission of the financial reports, definitely it will have impact on from where it will have impact on the financial statements. There is something, you see, error is not a big problem. The problem is with respect to fraud. Is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Prevention. What is the role of the auditor? The primary responsibility is you have to prevent, you have to detect. Okay? Prevent and detect fraud. Rest those with charged with governance. It is not primarily the responsibility of an external auditor. You cannot tell everything that external auditor is responsible. No. Is it right? It's not. It is the responsibility of the people who are charged with governance. However, as part of their risk assessment, auditors should discuss how and where the financial statements are susceptible to fraud. Should discuss with the management. Is that where the internal controls are weak, okay, where the risk factors are high. ISA 240, write down. You write down and everyone has to send me the list. How many ISA we have done. You have to write ISA like this. ISA 240, you have to write the auditor's responsibility relating to fraud in audit of financial statement. Till now, whichever standards we have done, before starting from the beginning till now, whichever is done, you have to write with the pen or type it and send me. Okay, in the list. Better you write and send. I want to make sure. I'm little bit tough here, but I want to make sure that you have to write, take the screenshot, take the picture and send me. What 240 says? The auditor responsible relating to fraud of an auditor. What is the role? responsibilities of the auditor. So what are the responsible auditors? The auditor is responsible to obtain a reasonable assurance. Okay, we are a reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free from material misstatements. Is that material misstatements? Whether it has been caused by fraud or error. The responsibility is that you have to make sure that they are free from material misstatement. Again, external auditor is not doing on each and every transaction, each and every case we are not doing. Is it right? We are just focusing on the things which we have identified that these are the risk elements are there, these are the risk where these is the areas where the risk is high, and on those areas the auditors will go. But the persons who are doing, we cannot know the mind of those people. Is it right? However, the risk of not detecting a material misstatement from fraud is higher than from error. Error is fine, one time it fine, two times, but intentionally you are doing. Error we are doing unintentionally. See, here also we are omitting some transactions, okay? Here also it happens. That is the reason. What is the, how we are preventing? We are preventing that there should be a sequential number. There should be a number which has going to be generated automatically. Is that generated automatically by the system? Is that this is one of the measures we are taking? Is it right? The invoice number should be automatically generated. Fine. That's the one of the controls we are putting. Is that fraud may involve very sophisticated schemes beyond our imagination, designed to conceal it. Is that beyond our imagination it will be. Fraud may be perpetrated done by individuals in collusion. Nobody can do fraud individually. It can be done with some collusion, with some understanding within, is it right? Within internal staff or external entities. That is the reason why we are doing this. We are saying all through the time that there should be a sufficient and appropriate evidence. Now you will understand. Sufficient and appropriate evidence. We are not relying only on one evidence. Okay, we are not relying on only one evidence. We are getting multiple evidences. Okay, we are going to collect multiple evidences to make sure that things are in the right place. Is it right? That is what the procedures talk about. When we do substantive procedures, the purpose of substantive procedures is we are collecting the information from multiple sources. Now you understand. Now you will, as you understand, now the concept of substantive procedures will be easy for us. Okay, for us. That means you are using multiple. You say that yes, I have withdrawn cash. Okay, what you will do? What you will say that show me the withdrawal slip. Okay, from if you are saying that I have withdrawn from the cash, first what you will do? You will collect. Yes, you have withdrawn 500. You will collect. Whether these currencies are mathematical accuracy, you will collect. You will ask that where is the withdrawal slip? You will say withdrawal slip. Yes, it is correct. Evidence is increasing. You will ask where is the message, SMS message, you got it. Evidence. It makes substantive. Is that? You will get, yes, you got a message. The evidence will increase. You will see what is the email. Yes, email is there. External, you will say yes, it is done. You will say that ultimately what you will do? You will go for a bank statement. Yes, you have withdrawn money today. It has been reflected in the bank or not. If it has been reflected, fine, the evidence will grow. That is what substantive procedure talk about. In the examination, it is almost 20 to 25 marks. People are very worried about substantive procedures. Nothing is there. It's a simple. You wish you are collecting. I told you, first you are withdrawing the money. First what you will do? You will count it. Is it right? You will count it individual also. That is what mathematical accuracy. Then you will see the slip. That is the second evidence. Then you see the message, third evidence. You see your email, fourth evidence. You will check, you will verify with your bank statement, fifth evidence. Done. Automatically. Sequence wise we are doing. Understand point? We are doing sequence wise. That's very important. The most important is you have to do sequence wise. Now, management fraud is harder to detect because management is a position to manipulate accounting records. They can do anything. It's very difficult. Is that management, if it is done by the management, top level, most of the cases, you take all the frauds, okay? You take all the frauds. We will cover, is it right? We take all the frauds. You take all the scandals that has been happened. Is that it is basically, it is a collaboration. Okay? You know Arthur Anderson, audit company. Is it right? Enron. It is top management with the help of auditors. Is that top management with the small lower level management? Nobody can think about it. Is that professional skepticism from the auditor's point of view is important. Auditors should consider the possibility of management overriding controls. That is the reasons you will have controls and you will have test of controls. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Is it clear to you? Is it okay? Yes, Mugir,
Yeah.
Mugir, Gaita, Mariam and Laila. Fine. This is what always you should have. You should think where the things will go wrong. Now, this is with respect to fraud. Now, what the auditor will do? Auditor will make sure. Okay, auditor make sure that they will get a written representation from the management. There is no oral, there is no voice acceptance. Is that anything is happening? Anything happening, as a matter of fact, you will get written representation. It is one of the, even it is correct. Understand the point? Take my word. Even it is correct if you think that yes, in these areas we need in writing, you will get. The I 240 requires auditor to obtain representation from management and those charged with governance to acknowledge their responsibility for the design, implementation and maintenance. It is the responsibility of the management to have internal controls. Is that they will ask, one question is there, it is the responsibility of internal auditor? No, I think we have done in the last session. It is the responsibility of the management to, is there, and we have to know internal control. Why? To prevent and detect fraud. This is the first point. It is the management responsible design, implementation and maintenance of internal control. Second one, what it says, they have disclosed to the auditors management assessment of the risk of fraud in the financial statement. If anything happens, it happens if you take, sometimes what will happen in one of the cases, credit cards, okay, credit cards, there are some manipulation of the credit cards. Immediately the management, the company will, the firm will, the bank will tell to regulators, yes, it has been happened. Is that it has been happened? There is a event where there was a credit card manipulation, immediately you have to inform them. Okay, you have to inform to the regulators. They have to disclose. They have to disclose to the auditor management assessment of risk in the financial statement. Not what happens. There are different ways. Is it right? Why we ask for written representation? Disclose to the auditor that the knowledge of any fraud or suspected fraud which have material effect. Omission or deletion, it will have material effect. It have effect with respect to the value on the financial statements. It will have effects with respect to profits or losses. It will have, is it automatically? When you are talking about profits and losses, it will have effect on the equity. When it will have effect on the equity, it will have effect on the assets. They have disclosed, the management has disclosed their knowledge of any allegations of fraud. If something happens, is that it, and most of the time, and it's a part of the business, is that huge organization, is that huge organization. If it comes to the notice to the of the if it comes to the notice of the management, definitely what will do, management will disclose this. Okay, they will not hide. They say it has been disclosed. Whoever has done, is it are suspected but communicated to employees, former employees, analysts, regulators, or others. They have disclosed to the auditor their knowledge of any allegations. Only allegations. Allegations means somebody will say that this may have happened. Of fraud, communicated to whom? You have to communicate to everyone. You have to keep them informed. Okay? You have to keep them informed. Now, this is with respect to what? This is with respect to IS 240. Is it? This is with respect to IS 240. Now, what is thus the next one? IS 250 says that consideration of laws and regulations in the audit of financial statements. What are the laws and regulations? Is it right? What is the role of the management responsibility and what is the role of auditor's responsibility? This we have done in somewhere in lecture 2. Is it right? Somewhere. When you are talking about the contents, in the contents there will be management responsibility, there will be an auditor's responsibility. When you are submitting the report, is it right? The financial annual report, what is the responsibility of the management? This is one of the content. In the content pane, contents page, this is two items will be there. The responsibility of the management and the responsibility of the auditor. Little bit we have to be very careful here. Once we are doing the question answers, you just see these purple colors. Automatically it will be there. Is it? Questions will be there on. See, what is the role of the manager? The ensure that. See, what is the role we have done in the last case? That it is a fiduciary duty. See, it is a fiduciary duties. It is not, this management has to protect and use the funds of the shareholders in a most rightful manner. That is the duty of the management, to ensure that entity complies with relevant laws and regulation. It is not the auditor responsibility to prevent or detect non-compliance with laws. That is the reason every company nowadays, every other firm will have a compliance department. Internal audit department is separate, compliance department will be separate. Is that compliance department always take into consideration what the government says, what the regulator says, are we following it or not? Is that, are we following it or not? That's what all the time. Sometimes if as a firm we are not following, definitely we will get some legal notice from the regulators. Is that if we are breaking the rules? That is the reason compliance department is very, very stringent on these terms and conditions. This is the means what is the role of the management? To comply with laws and regulations. What is the auditor responsibility? Auditor's responsibility is to get a reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free, reasonable. Is that not complete? Is that it's true and fair? The auditor must also take into account the legal and regulatory framework within which that operates. Means what they are saying? They are saying that yes, it is. We have to follow first again I will say. First, we have to follow national rules. Whichever country we are working, we are doing the business, we have to follow the rules of that country first. Then you have to follow IS. Then you have to follow IFRS. Nowadays, you have ethical standards is also there. Is that now corporate governance code is also there. Is that you have corporate governance code, you have ethical standards is there, you have environmental regulations are there. Is that you have so many things. Is it that you have environmental regulations are there, you have ethical standards are there, you have corporate governance code is there. Is that the bigger the company is there, definitely they will take all these things. That is the reason you have if you take the most of the companies, there is an environmental department will be there, ethics department will be there. Is it right? You will have a person at the level of general manager, vice president. Is that ethics? Major, the bigger MNCs. Okay. Likewise, the auditor must also take into account the legal and regulatory framework which in the entry. This is the responsibility of the auditor, and this is the responsibility of the management. You will come across one MCQ on this. Okay, one MCQ will be there. Is that now 240 we have done 250. Is that what is 315? What IS 315? Only we are talking about these things. Okay, keep it in mind. You have to. We are not making sure that it's the one which you have to. IS 315 requires auditor to obtain a general understanding. Is it a general understanding of applicable legal or general framework, how it of company entity complies with? You should have, see the thing, you should have if you are taking into consideration, you should know the business law. Okay, you should know the business, you should know the commercial law. Is it right? You should know the commercial law. You should know the tax law. Okay, you should know the tax law. Fine. And you should know the labor law. Okay, you should know. We are not going to say that we are getting expertise in this. We are not talking. If we need, we can hire experts on that, but the experts will give only a opinion. The responsibility is auditor's responsibility. The auditor cannot say that it has been given by the expert and the expert is no. Expert is a third party. Expert is not the second party. The second party is the auditors. Is it? Auditors should have, as an auditor, you should have business law, you have a commercial law, you have a tax law. You should know. I'm not saying you have to become expert. You should know about what is the labor law. Okay. If that is the case, auditors, that's the reason they say. They say that it is a general understanding. For example, making inquiries of management about the laws and regulations that may affect the entity. What are the policies and procedures of ensuring it complies with relevant regulations? Assume you are talking in terms of tax law. You should know. Okay, you should know what are the tax structure is there, what is the corporate tax, what is the VAT, what is the municipal tax, what is the tourism tax, when it has to be paid, when it has not been paid. Is it what is the input tax, what is the output tax, what are the exempted supplies? You should have all this basic knowledge has to be there. That is the reason when you are doing ACCA, we will cover tax. The purpose of covering that subject tax is we should have a basic understanding. Is that the auditors shall remain alert of the possibility that the audit procedures highlight instances of non-compliance. See, you have to, when when you know the laws and regulations, isn't it? When you know the laws and regulations, what will do? The auditor will see what the compliance department is doing. Compliance department will also be audited. And when compliance department is auditing whether we are going as per the rules and regulations of the regulators. If you take insurance, regulator will be different. Finance companies regulator is different. Sometimes there will be a federal bank, there will be a central bank. They will be like that. Is it right? In whichever country it is, whichever the topmost regulatory bank is there, that takes in consideration the principles as well. You take the thing, telecommunication, telecom regulatory authority will be there. Is that you are talking about automobile, they will be regulators. Is that you aviation, they will be regulators. Every industry will have specific regulator. Is that any compliance should be any non-compliance, any should be reported to those charged with governance, or we have to whom we have to give to the audit committee. If the auditor suspect that those charged with governance are involved. Means auditor has to understand the general understanding of the entity, and any non-compliance issues, it has to be reported. Okay, it has to be reported. Any non-compliance should be reported to charge with the governance, or to whom we have to give it to the, you have to inform to whom we have to inform to the audit committee. See the thing, ISA 240, ISA 240, ISA 250 are more likely to be tested in short requirements, 3 or 4 marks in section B. The examiner wants to test your understanding of respective responsibilities, auditor's responsibility and management responsibility. It will be there. Okay, it will be there. The role, what is the responsibility of the auditor and what is the responsibility of the management. Is that respect of management and external auditor relation to fraud and with respect to compliance with rules and regulations. They have mentioned when it has been done. It is somewhat the older versions. Is it right? Some of the not that much updated. But if you see the thing, see, meanwhile, what I have done exam papers. As I have done question papers, I have sent you. I sent you 3 question papers. Just I think Thursday or Friday I sent you. Okay, I will send you question papers. I have already sent you mock papers. Is it right? I already sent you mock papers. We will do question bank. Is it right? We will do question bank. We will do past question papers. We will do mock papers as much as possible. Understand, but as much as possible we will cover the things what we have done on last Saturday. Is it right? It gives you a good understanding, various options. Next time when I was doing, I will tell you in advance. I will send you the questions in advance, and you have to prepare on that, and you have to come up with the solutions. You have to take your solution. Don't tell me that these many are right, these many are wrong. I am not asking that. But I will send you 15 questions in advance. Is that three scenarios, section A. And the moment I am sending you the questions, you can read and you can put it on the paper, the answers. On your own, you do self-evaluation. I'm not going to ask. If you want to share, you can share me personally, okay? But you can do on your own. You can know how many are where we are, where to improve, how much you have to improve. It is a self-assessment which makes things more easy for us. Is it? Now, auditors, what it says, auditors must document the work they have done at the risk. This is separate one, is it? This is about the how we have to do the documentation. Till now we have done with respect to fraud, okay? We have done with respect to fraud. Now it is the second phase, another topic, separate, entirely different topic. As anything, whatever you are doing as an auditor, you have to must keep a document. You should be in writing. Is that we look documentation in greater detail in the next chapter, where we discuss the strategy of an audit plan. But there are number of matters which need to be documented. Documentation is nothing but you have to write down, as simple as that, okay? Whatever you are the moment you enter the client place till you exit, whatever is happening, is it right? You will take notes, is it right? You are taking the notes. That notes will help you, because today you are doing for a one client, next month you are doing for another client, and after 3 months you will come back and do for the same client, is it right? Then you should know what you have done, what is the procedures you have done. Not only that, it is not only helpful to you. When you document the work, it will also help our team, the audit team, is it right? It helps the audit team to know what's happening and why, whether we are working because most of the things are interrelated, and if anything is there, it will give an base understanding to our audit team also. Is it right? This is very important. There are number of matters which need to be documented in the risk assessment initial stages. Is there initial stages and planning stages? Is that there are number of items to be. What are the things to be documented? The next question is, okay, you are saying that they are saying that you have to document. Is it right? Now what we have to document? What are the things we have to document? The discussion among the audit team internally. Is that what you are discussing within internally, considering the susceptibility of the financial statements to material misstatement, any significant decisions reached? Is that the discussions among the audit teams, those things should be documented. Is that with related to material misstatements of financial statement, include if there are any significant decisions we have reached. Key elements of understanding gain of the entity. This is very, very important. I told you so many times, and I will focus on that. Understanding the entity. You should understand. Tomorrow you are doing for an aviation. You should understand what is the aviation, how the things will work. Okay? You are doing an audit for an oil-based company. You should understand are they doing service, are they doing exploration. Is it right? Oil industry is not just only oil industry. Is it right? Oil industry is with respect to exploring. Oil industry is with respect to refining. Is it right? Oil industry with respect to services. Is it right? There are so many things that involves in the oil industry. Is it right? You have to know whether it is in the exploring, it is in refining, it is in services. Is it right? It is sometimes what will happen. Some companies are there. It's also a good business. You provide spares. Is it right? You provide spares to the oil companies. Is it right? You sometimes you are doing licensing with other companies. Is it right? All are related to, means you should know the understanding the entity, regarding the elements of the entity, and more once you understand the entity, this is the first one. What you have to do, you should also understand the internal control components. Is that internal controls are there or not? That is very much essential. That is very much essential. In the examination, there will be some 4 to 5 marks question on controls. Identify deficiency and give recommendations. Is that deficiencies and give recommendations? What are the deficiencies in the internal control and what are the recommendations you are giving on internal control? It is not difficult, okay? It is not difficult. We are talking about first you have to understand the entity, second you should understand internal control and source of information gain. See, you are going to the client place, you will gather lot of information, everything has to be documented, and what are the risk assessment procedures undertaken in previously what it has been undertaken, what are the measures they have taken, and what is the current situation. You are going to the client place, immediately you will not start audit, okay? They will say that yes, you have to do audit for 5 days. Okay, you have to do the audit for 5 days. They will give 4 days, 3 days, 5 days. First, immediately you will not go and start the thing. You will judge, you will see how the atmosphere is there, okay? Getting how the situation, how the staff is there, how the entity, how people are responding, how people are doing the job, how the procedures are there, what are the controls are there. You will observe. First you will observe. That's very important. Even in the inventory count you will observe how they are doing. Is it? Likewise, when you are going to a client, you will observe first. Half day you will take the thing, how they will observe. Then you will, whatever your observations, you will write down in your notes. If you are identifying, assess the risk of any material misstatements from at the financial statement level and assertion level. Assertion still, is it right? Assertion still, I will take time to explain, okay? Means whether it is at the financial statement level or it is at the assertion level. Assertion level means you have to go at the point, okay? I will give a small example, non-current assets. Is it non-current assets? One of the assertions is rights and obligations. If you own it, you will show it as an asset. If you don't own it, you will not show it an asset. If you own it, when you are owning, again, see the things, how you should make purchases. It should be in the name of the entity. It should be recorded in non-current asset register. Is it right? Again, see the process. Is it right? You should place the order. I have missed this one. Okay, I have missed. You have placed the order. Is it right? Non-current asset. You have to review. Is it right? Again, what you are doing? Some way you will review board meetings, board minutes. Because non-current asset is not a small amount. It is a huge amount. Is it right? It is a huge amount. Definitely, it needs the approval of the board. This is what we are working on, specific rights and obligations. Valuation. Is it right? Occurrence. We will take the things. These are called as assertions. Fine. Risk identified, risk which has been identified and related controls evaluated. Test of control. We have to practically. That is the reason what we are doing. We are saying that it is a beta testing. We use the word beta testing. We give negative inputs. Is that you give negative inputs? Automatically, if you are giving negative inputs, whether it will, if it accepts, controls are weak. If it doesn't accept, controls are strong. Okay, if it doesn't accept, controls are strong. Your password, take an example of your password. It is very specific. Even it is small change in the character, is it right? It in capital letters or small letters, it will not accept. Okay. Overall response means you should document these things. Risk identified and related which have been evaluated. Overall response to address the risk of materials misstatements at the first level financial statement. Means what are the, if we have identified the risk, then definitely we'll come with us some responses to those types of risk is there. What need continuation to this? Nature, extent and timing of further audit procedures. If you find that risk is high, material misstatements are high, you will not stop there. What you will do some further procedures. You will do some further procedure. We have done rights and obligation. What we will do? We'll do with rights and obligation. We find that there is a risk element is there. Then what you will do? You will do something with respect to valuation. We do with respect to existence. These are all assertions. Okay, these are all assertions. Existence. We say that the asset is exist or not. Is it right? Means we are not that much convinced with respect to rights and obligation. We will do valuation, we will do existence, and automatically what will happen, if there is anything that has been done wrong, we can come to a conclusion. If rights are not there, definitely existence will also, no existence of non-current asset will not also not exist as such. Is that this is where we are going further to collect the appropriate evidence. Now you understand what is the, initially it is not understood. Very simple. We will say that what is sufficient and appropriate evidence. Sufficient and appropriate evidence is the core matter of discussion. Core matter of discussion. We have to take evidence as much as possible to convince ourselves. Is that next? What we have to document if we have done procedures, is that you have to give the results, whatever the procedures, existing, valuation. We are not writing that in detail, we are only writing these things. If the auditors have relied on the evidence, effectiveness of the controls from the previous audits, conclusions how this is appropriate. See what we have done. See, every time you are giving an audit report, is it right? That I told you, whenever you are reviewing it, you will review back pages. Is it right? You will review back pages. You will also review the previous audit reports. Okay, you will also review the previous audit reports. When you review the previous audit report, the purpose is, listen carefully, the purpose is what have been done wrong and what they have to do. Now you will focus on what they have done wrong. If whatever they have done in the previous audits, is it whatever they have done in the, if there is any improvements, that's fine. Definitely it means that the errors will have decreased. Possibility, okay, I will put the possibility of errors has been reduced. Is that, I will not use the word decrease also, we will not use. What we will use? We use that possibility of the errors has been reduced. See, this is the audit language. Understand point? The moment the things will change. Now, what this we have to document what happened previously and what happened now. Demonstration that the financial statements agreed or reconciled with the accounting records. See, everywhere there will be a reconciliation. Purchases reconciliation, sales reconciliation, non-current asset reconciliation, cash and bank reconciliation. And this is one of the procedures. Is it right? This is one of the procedures. What is the procedure? You will reconcile. We will reconcile. Reconciliation is part of every activity. Now, whatever I am saying is that whatever we are discussing, when we are doing the questions, you will come across the same point. Focus on these cases. The writing exam is very easy. Focus on these points, okay? Focus on the, what is the, what we will do, I will tell you. First you will see what is the opening balance, what is the last year closing balance and this year opening balance. These values are correct or not. And we'll do lot of procedures. And in the end what we'll do, we'll do reconciliation. We'll not do reconciliation in the beginning. We do reconciliation in the end. Okay? That's why it's a demonstration that the financial statements agree on reconcile with the accounting records as such. Okay? This is what we are talking in terms of audit planning.